In 1980, German electro-futurist performance art band the Gina X Performance released their second album, X-Traordinaire, on EMI Electrola, and from it, the side 2 closing epic Ciao Caruso. Beginning kind of like something Gary Newman may have done on Telecon. The musical mastermind behind this is Zeus Beheld, formerly of Birth Control. He plays keyboards. I should have announced him as a keyboardist. I love the tonal color of this, and as the layers start to like weave and meld together. An F tonality is emerged. Some of the sounds sound like processed vocals in a way. Okay, we're 1:35 in, and just now we're starting to, the cadence is starting to tighten. I like that guitar sound. That is Dierk Hill. Yeah, kind of. How would I describe that sound? Kind of slightly chorused, echoey.
Enrico Caruso is riding to Barcelona, singing in the sunshine, a song on his speedy Vespa.
She might not, Gina X might not be much of a vocalist, but there's a certain kind of robotic, sensual, that could be an oxymoron, but charm to it in a way that just kind of fits the cybernetic quality of this music.
He's going to meet his friends on Valentino's veranda.
Okay, and the accent can be cute at times too.
He's looking forward to get in touch with Guardian. Ciao Caruso, Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni Luca Galdi.
What was I telling you? That sensual, yeah, that airy, I love the airy, breathy tone of this chorus.
Tony Ferry, without a money, sweet money, should tell me. Ciao Caruso, Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni Galdi. Without a money, Caruso and Giovanni, singing tutti frutti alla lutti. Tutti belli, ciao, 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 ciao.
Something about that chorus is just so powerful and compelling to me. It's a combination of the quaintness of the production, the cybernetic feel. It's like futurist and yet takes me away to some magical distant past at the same time. And it like I almost feel like I'm in like a neon lit kind of skating rinks in circa 1980. Memories. And and just the breathy airiness of those vocal harmonies and some of the landing chords. It's like that C. It's primarily in C. I almost was trying to feel for a major seventh. It feels like it could be there because it just has that kind of relaxed, kind of slanted eye feel to it. Although I can't quite confirm that, but and then the chords it would change to no, like the flats, the sharps, like E flat. A few kind of like angular chordal shifts in there that made it all the more compelling. Like combined with all those other elements.
With needles, the Beatles, isn't it legal? Squeezing the charges with needles, it is so funny now. Shrimps in the long rings, feeling like kings with two big wings.
Okay, if I was to put my hand on what the quaintness stems from to this production, it almost sounds like it was mic'd from an adjacent room in a building with really good acoustics. I've used that metaphor before on a few occasions before. Like there's somewhat of a distance. There seems to be somewhat of like a thin barrier between the miking and the sound, and yet it's all the more enhanced for it.
Enrico enjoys all the brave boys sitting around him. Ciao Caruso, Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni, look at Gaudi. That will be funny, without a bunny, sweet money, shit honey. Ciao Caruso, Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni, getting funny.
The lyrics are not printed anywhere, although the old vinyl copy I had, had them printed, and let's see, not quite, almost large enough on Discogs too. It's basically seems to be just kind of a litany of gibberish, yeah, just random things being named off, including a few pop cultural icons getting name checked. This happens in a few of their songs, I think, where they where the middle eight is in this really kind of odd chord in relation to the rest of the track, and we get a little bit of light kind of piano and. Synth bass, yeah, the piano. We're gonna get a little bit expressionistic on that piano. Zeus Beheld showing us not just one but two sides of himself that never came through during his time in birth control. A little bit like Conlon Nancaro. I just love how they're playing over like one, like a monochordal bass note, synth bass note, and yet it's just yeah, it faster and faster and faster, and yet hear him explore the full range of that piano. Just for a minute, I thought I was hearing dripping sounds. Now I'm hearing kind of like little birdie sounds. I wonder if that's something that they recorded or if it's just something they took from another recording. That kind of muffled, like operatic singing. I wonder if it's coming from like an old like Victrola record, you know, 78 just played into some like garbled mic or something. Oh, take it all in, like the echo-laden drum pattern, the yeah, those kind of high sort of sparkling sounds, and those lower like this sort of like diamondy light synth is just like fun. It's coming through quite prominently in my right speaker.
Meanwhile, Zaragon is dropping an opera for the night. Sophia's taking an umbrella to keep off the falling stars. But one of them is dropping on his outstretched slick-like tongue.
Yeah, Gina X, real name, or at the time, Gina Kikoine, wrote these lyrics. I'm a little bit confused by her real name. I guess that was her real name at the time, but it says on her actual Discogs page, it says real name Claudia de Held. So, did her and Zeus Beheld marry? I don't know much about their personal lives. As a matter of fact, I can't even tell which of the members is Zeus Beheld on the back, because when I look him up on Google Images, well, I see photos from the birth control era, looking totally hippie at that point, and then more recent photos of him. And neither of those iterations look anything like any of the three guys, but then again, it's hard to tell because they're also heavily made up. I'm kind of imagining it's one of the guys to either the right or left of Gina. It would kind of be cool if it was this guy with the big yellow slinky around his neck. Yeah, over his shoulders. I went through a phase when I was in my early 20s of wearing springs around my neck. Okay, I did a few times going out to clubs. It's kind of cumbersome, but it's an interesting effect. Oh, and these green tubes that are on the front cover. Yeah, I used to collect things like that whenever I would find them. My bedroom was just decked out in those things. I would sometimes like tie them around myself when I went out clubbing too.
Now the tingling will begin to reach his hot and horny skin. Oh, Jimmy disappearing here, we can touch him, he's so near.
Did you catch that one? Yeah, this is just kind of like a pop cultural fair of some kind, like in Chronospace, where all these people appear and you get to like meet them all.
He rides on a happy horse, it's not a Chevy, it's a Porsche. He's looking back in anger through a deeply frozen tear. 100 million spirits are scratching back to yesteryear. Ciao Caruso, Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni look accounting. That will be funny without a bunny. Sweet money, money, shit on me.
Okay, much faster this time, the chorus, than before, because we've retained that speed that we picked up as we came out of that really lengthy set of midsections, and just appreciate how this is kind of like club music in a certain way, or kind of like proto-club music, and yet how many songs can you think of in that vein that have such lengthy instrumental sections that actually had like development and straight into like avant-garde territory at the time, and yeah, like with that piano and all.
Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni getting funny. Without a bunny, Caruso and Giovanni singing tutti frutti alla lotti. Tutti belli, ciao, 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 ciao Caruso and Enrico Rodolfo, Freddie and Giovanni Kikoine. That will be funny, this will be funny, without funny, funny, shit on me.
I like how she's singing over herself in a very different voice, kind of ad-libbing earlier lyrics. Now it's become pretty dense. Actually, towards the end here, she is starting to flex a certain kind of vocal technique of her own. Kind of a heavily accented jive talk. Yeah, that was Ciao Caruso by Gina X Performance from their 1980 second album, X-Traordinaire. Yeah, drums, László, Czigány, pretty much limited to this band. Guitars, Dierk Hill. Each of them had their moments, primarily a lot of it due to the effects that were employed. Yeah, he did a few more things. Appeared on a Nina Hagen album, was in Gena X's subsequent albums beyond this, and let's see, in 1981, Zeus beheld, I think, so some of the members here got swallowed into Zeus's next album, simply released as Zeus, Attack Time. Has a version of Drive My Car on it. And I think that that was also, yeah, on Gena X's 1984 release, Yinglish. I can't remember her version offhand. That song was also covered by Christina. It's interesting. Yeah, Christina, I guess you could somewhat, a little bit of comparisons could be made. The New York, that woman who put out an album in 1980 on Z Records, on I think on the Contortions label, And I think that was I think her version of Drive My Car was the only thing I liked on that album. Gina X appeared on Fashion's second album, the 1982 release Fabric. At which point, and she even appears on the inner sleeve. Beautiful. Yeah, a very wonderful photo of her there on Fabric. But the brummy art rock neuro band Fashion that put out a great album in 1979 called Product Perfect. They had been through, I think of the four members that were on the second album, only two of them were part of the trio, the original trio of the first album. Yeah. So quite a different band, and a 3-year gap too. But anyway, Gina X Performance, their first two albums I can quite vouch for. A Nice Mover has some really great tracks on it, including, let's see, Casablanca and Exhibitionism. That is a beautiful, like, cold, glacial, cybernetic track, like in the vein of some of Gary Newman's most rhythmless stuff, or kind of like My Sex by Ultravox, yeah. Recorded in like the fall of 1978, so they were pretty early onto this. I mean, just recorded just months after Zeus Beheld left Birth Control, yeah. And then this album has some other great stuff on it too, some like driving kind of new wave meets disco type numbers, yeah, like Do It Yourself, yeah. Anyway. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Gina X Performance, see the directory of albums by German artists linked in the description below. And then that'd be like on one page in the G section. Then you can go over to the B section to explore Zeus Beheld's Time and Birth Control, and then over to the Z's to see, let's see, I've got his 1978, his first solo album on there anyway. Pretty good release, yeah. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard. The tonal colors, the effects, some of the layers, the instrumental section, that wild piano, and some of the vocal sections, the more kind of euphoric elements of it all, and just the overall hypnotic quality of this track, yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear travel maximist, signing off.